today's video is going to be my November book recommendations. There will be a few different topics in this video: romance, fantasy, thriller, classics, and there's also going to be a few YA books in there as well, just to broaden the like for books, and also some older teenage books as well as some more adult books as well. So saying that, let's get on with the video. I also put all the books linked in the description, so then you guys can go buy them if you decide you like them. Okay, so the first books we are going to do is fantasy, and the first book I want to talk about is the Dallergut Dream Department Store by Mi Lee. It's a Korean #1 bestseller and it's been translated into English, and it's a very interesting book. This is also YA as well. And it's about like this mysterious town where there's this dream department store, and every night humans, animals, they go in and they buy their dreams. But we follow the point of view of a girl named Penny, who's a new hire into this dream department store, and we just follow her point of view around the town, around the department store, and finding new interesting characters. This is definitely a very, very good book for all year round, but this is one of my favourites that I've read this month, so I definitely recommend it. It's really small, and there's also a sequel, which is The Return to the Dallergut Dream Department Store. But yeah, it's a very, very good book, and I really liked it. It's quite a small one, you can get through it really quickly, but I definitely recommend it to anyone who likes fantasy and a bit of a weird story. The next fantasy book, and also our last one for this month, is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. And this is Power is a Dangerous Game. And in this book, there's a world where red equals commoner and silver equals elite. So like how we see our queen, prime minister, presidents, those would be the elite in our world. However, the main character, Mare, possesses a deadly power that actually would throw off the balance of their world as it exists. So in order to keep her a secret, they hide her in plain view and call her the long-lost Silver Princess, when in reality she really isn't. So it's definitely an interesting power book, and how people just don't want their roles to be lost, especially the higher up people. They don't want to lose their role over the world and lose their power. So it's definitely a really interesting fantasy book. Also, once again, it is YA, so if you're a younger reader, definitely would recommend it. There's also more books in the series, so there's Glass Sword, King's Cage and War Storm, and they're all definitely a very, very good book, but this is the first one. Now we are going to move on to thriller, and this is the first thriller book, and it's Layla by Colleen Hoover. I know Colleen Hoover's kind of not as popular as an author at the moment, or like as much as she was, but if you're still a big fan of her, or just a fan in general, or just want to read a different book, I definitely recommend this. This explores a lot of features of the paranormal, and it follows this girl Layla, and basically her boyfriend Leeds, when they meet Layla, he's convinced that she's the love of his life. But when his ex, who's a bit psycho and a bit crazy, decides to attack them, Layla wakes up and is not the same person as she used to be, and Leeds has to find out that when they go to this special place where him and Layla loved, he's not the same girl, and he actually falls in love with a ghost, which turns out to actually be Layla. So it's definitely an older novel, as it has got a few romantic scenes in it. However, if you're really into like just a paranormal and a romance story at the same time, this is really, really good. It's also quite scary as well, that's why I put it in the thriller section, just because paranormal, some people can find that a little bit scary. But yeah, I definitely recommend this book. Next book in the thriller category is 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. Holly Jackson is a very famous author, as well as you probably know her most famous book series, Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Those are also very, very good books, and I definitely recommend them. I just haven't put them in this video. But 5 Survive follows the story of 5 friends in an RV on a road trip. All of a sudden, their car breaks down in the middle of the road, but they get out and it was no accident whatsoever. They had been attacked. They have to share their secrets and fears with everyone in the car to find out who's the person that was getting shot at. This is definitely a very interesting book and a very scary book as well. This is also YA, so that's why I put it in this video as well. I definitely recommend this to young people who want to read their first thriller, or just people who want to read a thriller as well, because Holly Jackson is for realistically all ages. She makes amazing books, and this is definitely one of my favourites, so I definitely recommend this. The next topic is classics, and the first classic I want to talk about is Crime and Punishment. Now, I'd just like to say for the classic parts, I know classics really aren't for everyone, but I would say that this probably wouldn't be the best classic to start with. I just want to say that if you wanted to start with a classic, I definitely recommend Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's a really short one, and it's really interesting, and obviously there's been a movie made about it. Also, there's been a lot of movies made about different classic novels, as well as Pride and Prejudice, which is our next classic book. But I know classics aren't for everyone, but these are just for people who either want to change up their reading pace or just like classics as general. But the first book I want to talk about, like I said, is Crime and Punishment. Now, this is a book about where the lines of good and evil blur, and like the lines of like innocence and corruption, like there's something going on in the world, and it follows the story of a student named Raskolnikov. Feel like I'm gonna say that wrong, but it's just a former student who wanders through the slums of St. Petersburg and commits a random murder without remorse. So it's definitely an interesting book. I could have put this in thriller, but I decided to put it in classics because it is. I definitely recommend this probably for older readers, as it's more of a complicated book to understand. It's quite big, and the murder scenes are a bit more graphic than a YA murder book. So I definitely recommend this to older readers or teens, but definitely recommend this as a classic. Another classic book is the classic Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice follows the point of view of Elizabeth Bennet, who, when she first meets Mr. Darcy, falls incredibly in love with the eligible bachelor. However, when he gets himself involved with her sister and her husband, she hates him more than ever, and it's kind of an enemies to lovers situation, but it's definitely a little bit of a romance novel, and it's a very good classic. So definitely recommend this, probably for older readers as well, just because it's a bit bigger, it's a classic, it's a bit harder to read, but if you want to read it, obviously go ahead, no one's going to stop you. It's a very good classic book, and I definitely recommend it. Now onto our final book list of the day. We're going to be talking about romance books. So the first romance book I want to talk about is Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood is one of my favourite romance authors, and this is actually her first YA book, and it follows the line of Mallory and how she used to love chess when she was little, but ever since her father had died, who was the person who taught her chess, she hasn't really played. But she enters one competition in order to make money for her family, and meets this guy Nolan, who doesn't actually like playing chess. He does it for the money, but he's very good as well. But it basically just goes on the lines of it's a bit of an enemies to lovers, and they end up becoming very close. Like I said, this is a YA, so I definitely recommend it too if you want to read your first romance novel. It's a very cute story, and yeah, I definitely recommend this. I read this in a day, that's how really good it is. I definitely say it's a slow beginning, but once you get in it, it's really good. Okay, my next book is also a Colleen Hoover book, and it's Regretting You. Obviously, like I said, Colleen Hoover is a bit of a different writer, and not a lot of people like her anymore, but if you do, this is definitely a good book. Or if you haven't really heard of it, I definitely recommend her books to find out if you like her or not, because you can have different opinions to everyone online as well. You don't have to follow what everyone else thinks. But Regretting You is a story about Morgan Grant and her 16-year-old daughter Clara, and how Morgan doesn't want Clara to follow in her footsteps. She got pregnant at a young age, and she just doesn't want Clara to go down the same path. The only person who brings peace in their household is Chris, her husband. However, when Chris passes away in an accident, as well as Morgan's sister, a lot of things come out, and Clara doesn't understand it, and her and her mum really fall out. But it's a very good book, and I really liked it. Definitely for older readers, but it's a very good book. The third romance book is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood, and this follows the point of view of Elsie Hanaway, who is a scientist as well as Jack Smith, and it kind of starts out with the main character fake dating his brother, and that's how they first meet. He doesn't like her, as obviously she isn't as close to her brother as he would want, but as you know, they're not actually dating. It's a very interesting book, enemies to lovers, and I really liked it. She also has a lot of really good other books as well. I definitely recommend her. But yeah, definitely for older readers, but it's a very good book. The last book is November 9 by Colin Hoover. Like I said, she's a very controversial person at the moment, so you can take this recommendation or you cannot. This is a romance novel about Fallon, who meets Ben on the day she's about to move across country. They fall in love very quickly and really like each other's company. In order to still see each other, they decide to meet up every year on the same day, November 9th. But as the years go on, Fallon doesn't know if Ben's lying to her or not, and they go through a lot of struggles as, you know, they're only going to see each other once a year. But it's a very interesting novel and a very good romance novel, definitely for older viewers, but I definitely recommend this. Thank you for watching my first ever video. I hope you liked it. I definitely want to be posting more videos soon, as I'm actually doing this for my Duke favour. But I really hope you enjoyed the book recommendations that I gave to you, and I put them, like I said, I'll put them all in the description so you can go and buy them if you decided you liked any. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe and please like to boost my channel. Thank you. Bye.